Well, Ulysses, it finally happened. The Rays got a win in the month of July.
And it needed to happen, so they're now going to the break, feeling good. We can all feel good. So let's talk about that and a little bit of home run derby fun starting right now.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, my name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano.
And we are the host of the Locked On Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for making us your very first listen every day. Be sure to check out and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Locked On Rays. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Locked On Rays and email us anytime we're looking for some mailbag questions and hot takes. You can send us a voice memo or a traditional email to lockedonrays@gmail.com, or you can also DM us on Twitter. That's fine as well. All right, without further ado, the Rays finally got the dub yesterday afternoon against the Atlanta Braves by a score of 10-4. So go into the All-Star break on hopefully an upbeat, positive note. With that, Ulysses, what are your takeaways and observations from the weekend that was as we go into a breather here?
Breather is right. It's just like a long sigh after Stevenson got those 3 outs, man, because it's been such crappy baseball the last 2 weeks.
Which is funny to say. Yes, it has been crappy baseball the last 2 weeks, but big picture, the Rays are still in a much better position record-wise and confidence-wise overall compared to so many other teams. Maybe not the Braves so much, but other teams out there. So we also have to take into account, let's also look back at what happened in April and May, in June. Not July, but those
not
3
July.
Yeah.
Definitely not July. But this is the thing, we knew regression was going to happen, but it really did hit them like a Buick in the face. It's just been bad baseball. But yeah, obviously, big picture, they're one of the best teams in MLB, and that's why I got some brushback. I think, was it 2 weeks ago when I said they're the team with the best record, and I think somebody on the YouTube comment that we put on the show is like, why are you saying best record on MLB instead of saying best team in MLB? I was like, because they have the best record, but I can't say they're the best team in MLB. Well,
we can say the Braves are.
You can say the Braves are. That's a team. That's a really good team. And that's not disparaging the Rays. It's just like the Braves are a very well-oiled machine. I mean, there's no holes there, man. It's really impressive what they've done there in Atlanta. But for my takeaway, I wanted to go draft way. I wanted to go Jonathan Aranda way, which is so good to see him. Oh, look at that. The guy was productive with the bat. Who would have thought? But no, I got to go with Yandy. Yandy Diaz has been on fire. The last 3 games in that Atlanta series, he at least had 2 knocks. So he went 4 for 3, 4 for 2, and 3 for 5 there. Sorry, 2 for 4, 3 for 4, and 5 for 3. And finally, he got a home run after his last one being on May 26th. Kevin, do you remember who the Rays played in May 26th?
I know it's only a month and a half ago, but it seems like 12 and a half months ago. Who they played on May 26th? Was it home or away?
It was home.
They played the Orioles. I have no idea.
LA Dodgers. That Dodgers series. That's how long it has been since he got a home run. So I got to go with Yandy. It's so good to see him, flexing that muscle. I think one of the things that has been frustrating is, the home run production going down on this team because it was so helpful, right? With Yandy, it has definitely slowed down, and you start getting some doubters again, which I just don't understand on how productive Yandy can be without the long ball. Oh, he's back to hitting ground balls. I will say this, and please listen. It does not matter if Yandy Diaz hits home runs. he is still an incredibly productive hitter. This is somebody that you want to have in your lineup. It does not matter if he never once again hits a home run. It does not matter. He is an incredibly productive hitter that you want in your lineup. The home run power, that's just cherry on top, people. That does not make him a needed factor for him to be a really good player. It does not. He is just fine without the home run power, but it's just nice to see that again. So I got to give it to Yandy Diaz.
Do you think Yandy, he now is at 13 home runs on the year, I believe, which that was a shot that we saw yesterday, 422 feet on a breaking ball to the deepest part of the ballpark. Does he get to 20 dingers?
No.
By year's end?
No, okay. He does not. Not with this, not with this streak of no home runs. I wouldn't put money on it that he gets to 20. I mean 17, 18, sure. I think he'll get close. But I can't go to 20. But regardless, like I said, it doesn't matter. I mean, look at his slash length. 323 average, 408 on base.
Dude, those lead the league, by the way.
Yeah.
They at least lead the American League, and he's going to be starting in the All-Star game at first base, the first Rays player in history, first baseman in Rays history to start an All-Star game. That is really remarkable. And again, like you mentioned about, when have we ever expected or wanted Yandy Diaz? Well, we've wanted Yandy Diaz to be a home run hitter, but when have we ever expected, oh, he needs to be a 25 to 28 homer guy? That has never been his game and probably never will be his game. It looked like that was going to be his game the first couple months of the season, and then it cooled off. And he finds holes, whether it's a double down the line, whether it's a base hit the other way. I know we can talk about the ground ball rate and all that, but the numbers outside of the home runs, they speak for themselves. Yeah. And when nobody else, how many ones on the board were there over the last several games for the Rays? It was an offensive outage. It was, like you like to say, the Rays offense was flaccid. And if there's a guy to put the Rays back into the driver's seat offensively, whether it's a home run or a single or a double or a walk, it's Yandy Diaz.
Dude had 8 hits during this series. 8.
He was the only guy that really showed up outside of Sunday.
Yeah, no, I cannot, you cannot overstate how neat a Yandy Diaz is in the lineup. And I did appreciate how Mark Topkin did right about his the odyssey that he has to go through this week with the birth of his child. And you know, they're changing like the C-section appointment from Tuesday to Wednesday because he has to fly out to Seattle, then play the game, and now he's going to like take a red eye back to Tampa so that they can get the birth done on Wednesday. Like it's been a whole thing for him to be changing that with him and his wife, and it must be such a stressful time right now for him in his life. I mean, like the birth of your child, like that's crazy stuff. Like I couldn't even imagine. And yet here he goes, 3 for 4, 2 for 4, 3 for 5, home run, runs scored, RBIs. Like it's insane what he's doing right now.
And maybe, again, he's still productive, but as far as the home run angle, maybe it's a case of, oh my gosh, he's really launching the ball out of the ballpark and becoming as complete, maybe the best hitter in baseball when the power is going on. We need to approach and pitch to him differently. So maybe it's sliders away, breaking balls away, fastballs away, make him maybe not roll over on it, but top it over, and we can live with a single. We can't live with a home run. So maybe there's an adjustment period that occurs as well. Droughts happen. We've seen it with every player in the history of baseball, more or less. We've seen it with a lot of Rays players over the years. So to still have the numbers that he has is remarkable. And he's almost, I mean, if he continues what he's doing this season, he'll basically out-earn that 3-year, $24 million deal that he commanded, which I think goes back to being a really, really smart play for the Rays. So, it's good to see. I'm glad you brought up Yandy Diaz because I know it's almost like Isaac Paredes in a way of everybody's going to venture towards talking about Brandon Lau and Randy and Wander, and Now we see Josh Lowe stepping up, and it does seem like Yandy Diaz gets lost in the fold sometimes as well with that. All right, we have more to discuss, but Ulises, we have to tell the audience about something extremely important.
Yes, and that this show is sponsored by BetterHelp. It can be difficult right now for a lot of people when you're faced with tough choices and your path towards clearing them is not clear. Maybe it's a decision about a relationship, about a career, anything in your life, and you want to stay connected to what you really need in order to navigate life so you can move forward with confidence and excitement. And you can do that with the help of therapy. BetterHelp makes that incredibly easy. So if you're thinking of starting therapy, you got to give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. You fill out a brief questionnaire. It only takes about 10 minutes to fill out. Then they match you with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. It's incredibly easy. And they also have an app on your phone. I really enjoy the app. The app really helps you stay connected, and it's a lot easier to do the scheduling as well from your phone. So let therapy be your map with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/lockedonMLB today to get 10% off your first month. That's a whole first month and you get 10% off. So you got to really try that. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/lockedonMLB.
Question, putting you on the spot here. Will Braves versus Rays versus Braves, will that be the World Series matchup of 2023?
I hope so. I hope so. Those were two good teams, and that was not the Rays at their best, and they made it a good series.
Yeah.
Friday night with Glasnow starting. By the way, he was unreal with.
It's really unfortunate to lose games like that. We've said it before, where your ace, quasi-ace, you're one of your top pitchers, top starters is on, and you can't score enough runs to even give them a chance. One run isn't giving your team a chance.
No, it's not. And there's the booted ball by Brendan Lau, then followed by a home run, because that's baseball. That's what happens when you do that. Look, we've always spoken about Brendan Lau not being the most adept fielder. At least I have. I've never been on the Brendan Lau has a good glove at second base. I don't think
certainly not as good as Taylor Walls. That's for sure.
Yeah. So no. It was. It sucks on Friday night, but hey, they came out on Sunday and they stopped the bleeding with the L's.
You can't go into the All-Star break on an 8-game losing streak. You just can't allow that to happen. And as much as the losing streak sucks, I'd much rather have the Rays lose that game. If you're only going to win one game over the course of the series and over the course of this run that we've seen, I'd rather have that win come on the day before the All-Star break begins rather than the Friday or the Saturday or the Thursday.
Yes, 1,000%. Like, just everybody get on the plane, be happy. Off to Seattle, you're happy. Off to home, happy. Go get your 1 hour ride to Orlando, Zach Eflin. Be happy. All of it. I agree.
Yeah, and hopefully that gives them a little spice and momentum going into the weekend series against the Royals. Good thing I know it is on the road against Kansas City, but that should be a series that you can eat up and scoop up with relative ease, as opposed to coming out of the All-Star break and facing immediately the Rangers or the Braves or the Dodgers or somebody like that. Speaking of the Braves, oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't foresee any weaknesses on the team, certainly not in the lineup. They set a franchise record, 26 straight games that they have hit a home run, thanks to Travis d'Arnaud on Sunday. Who needs Freddie Freeman? I know there was all the talk about how can the Braves let Freddie Freeman go? They seem to be doing just fine, just okay with implementing Matt Olson and so many others in that lineup. I mean, 1 through 9, their number 9 hitter could be the cleanup hitter in the for the Washington Nationals. That's like it's you've got a good squad when Marcell Ozuna is a literal afterthought on your.
You don't even mention him. You don't mention Ozuna until the 8th, 9th time. No, it's an incredible ball club, and the pitching is really, really good. Of course, we get to see Uncle Charlie Morton
Yes.
on the mound. Good to see him. Dude, he's still throwing it. I mean,
Right.
it's amazing.
That's the thing is I think that maybe the Rays give up a little bit too quickly on some of those guys, be it Charlie Morton and Travis d'Arnaud and maybe some others. And the Braves are like, we'll scoop them up. We can find a role for them. And
Dude,
look at what they are right now. I mean, the Braves legit have the best catching tandem in all of baseball.
Yes, 100%. I don't want to go on a tangent with this, but just give me like 45 seconds on this.
Sure.
$15 million. That was the option that the Rays said no to Charlie Morton for 2021. What happened 2021? You had a 100-win team. You add Charlie Morton to that team's not going to get better. Whatever, regular season does not matter. But you know what matters? The ALDS against the Red Sox, where you had Shane Baz, Drew Rasmussen, rookie, and Shane McClanahan's first. Actually, he was a rookie in 2021. So you have rookie on rookie saying, "Hey, here's the ball against the Red Sox. Can you make it happen?" Mistake, front office mistake.
Yes.
To not have a that veteran like Shane, like Charlie Morton there, man. I mean that would have changed the whole complexion of that playoff run. And it could have been something different because you get the W in game 1 with Shane McClanahan at the Trop. Then you would have put Charlie Morton. So you secured 2 wins. You only need 1 more.
Yeah.
Different story.
And it's really interesting because you see all these young pitchers that are going down with Tommy Johns and elbow and ligament issues, yet Charlie Morton and other veteran players keep on ticking away. I mean, Charlie Morton in 2022 threw 172 innings in the regular season. 2021, 185 innings. What he did with the Rays in 2019, 194 innings. So he's posting. He continues to post. And
That was a miss.
it's unfortunate to hear. I mean, we learned really unfortunate news with Drew Rasmussen. And he's just the first. We're going to see it so many more times with pitchers. That's just going to be a thing. But on the upbeat side of things, it was very, very nice to see the Rays finally put up some offense, put up some 2-strike hitting. We saw what Yandy Diaz could do. We saw what Isaac Paredes could do. We saw what Jonathan Aranda could do, inside out swing, hitting the ball the other way. We saw what Taylor Walls could do. Taylor Walls, again, we can speak about his offense and lack thereof, but he provides a lot of value to this team, not just defensively, but base running wise. What we saw on Sunday, going first to third on a routine ground ball from Jose Siri. What was it? A ground ball to shortstop?
Unreal. I mean, you don't just like see that often in baseball. I think I've seen it. Elvis Andrus really liked doing that move when he was young, and spry. He really liked doing that move. Taylor Walsh's base running might be better than his defense. And that's saying a lot because his defense is amazing, but his base running, the dude's impeccable.
Yeah.
I mean, the baseball IQ of like knowing when to just go for it, the leads that he takes, unreal. Taylor Walsh's base running is not appreciated at all by the fan base, and it needs to be because it's really, really good.
Avoiding the throw, avoiding the tag away from the defender, forcing a throw from a first baseman. First basemans don't make many throws. They don't have to make many throws from first to third, unlike third to first. So kind of keeping them off guard. And I like that move when you're in the driver's seat and you have the lead. Like, put it on a little bit, step up the pressure of the other side instead of when you're fighting from behind. You can do it when you're from behind, but when you're, you have a 2-3 run lead, and let's expand that a little bit. Let's get a little cheeky here with that. And that put him at third, and then that forced the defense in, and Christian Bethancourt
came through
from there. So
yeah, and they've forgotten to do that. What you're talking about, this stepping on the neck. Like, hey, we have a 4-run lead. Let's finish the game off. Yeah. And they've said this lately during this last 2 weeks of basically mediocre baseball. It's like they haven't really been able to like finish off the games.
Right.
They put up the runs and then they stop. That's not what they used to do. April, and early May, they used to just like, no, we're going to keep going. Yes. That kind of stopped. That's the kind of move that speaks to like, we're going to keep adding on. The Taylor Wallace is going to first to third on a ground ball. Like that's like we're going for it, and we love to see that.
And the Rays probably could have had another run or two if not for some wonderful defense by the Braves, be it Ronald Acuna making a play on Luke Raley's deep ball to left center, or a diving stop up the middle by was it Arcia, I think. Handcuffing Jonathan Aranda. So that stuff happens. Real quickly before we move on, Taylor Walls, do you know how many stolen bases he has this year?
Taylor Walls has 18 stolen bases out of 19.
He has 20 stolen bases. Do you know how many caught stealings he has?
One.
That is...
I thought it was 18 for 19, so it's 20 for 21?
20 for 21, according to Baseball Reference.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And again, base running is not all about how many bags you can steal and how many times you get caught. It's the in-between. I would love to see additional stats at how many times do you take the extra base.
That would be so good. Yeah.
You know. So anyway, it's got to be out there at some point. So, all right, we have more to discuss, but we have to tell you another thing that's really, really important, and that is this. Do you want the chance to win more money with less picks? Of course you do. So head over to Sleeper, the Sleeper app, where you can get and win up to 100 times your money on just 2 or more fantasy baseball picks. Sleeper is now offering up to 100 times payout for up to 8 pick contests. Choose as many as 8 players that you like and pick more or less on your favorite baseball stats. Could be home runs, strikeouts, hits, and so much more. Get your picks right and you could win a lot of money. Entries can be made in 30 seconds or less. It's really that easy. It's also safe and really fast withdrawals. So you don't have to go through a lot of rigmarole to have fun and make some money and play some fantasy baseball in a unique format. So use promo code LOCKEDON, LOCKEDON, and you'll get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 30 states. Check out Sleeper today. Okay, this evening we have the Big Bad Home Run Derby, and one of our own is competing in the contest, the high stakes contest, as there is now a lot of Dolores on the line. So Randy Arozarena going up against 7 other dudes. Ulises, what do you think about his chances and an opportunity to shine and showcase himself and do the crossed arms, maybe show off his new hairdo, whatever it may be?
I think the difficulty for him is right off the bat. After that, I think he should be able to win. And I know he's not a home run power guy, at least not a home run power guy, but he's not a, how can we say this?
He's not home run first?
Yeah, he has home run power. He's just not a home run hitter. Right. But hey, again, that doesn't matter. Todd Frazier won this, okay, people? Like it doesn't matter.
Didn't Bobby Abreu win it one year?
Bobby Abreu won it, exactly.
He was not a home run hitter by the traditional definition. No, I mean, it's almost as much of an endurance contest as a power contest.
Exactly. I mean, Bobby Abreu was a 30-30 guy 2 times in his career. Never hit 40. So you don't have to be that prototypical home run guy to win it. But he does have a tough matchup right at the start with Adolis Garcia. So that's that the bracket shook out that way. It'll be fun. They're both really good friends from the minor leagues in the St. Louis Cardinals organization. So that should be fun for both of them to compete against each other. But after that, Randy, if he wins, he would go against the winner between Rutschman and Robert, which I would put money on Randy against those 2 guys. And then if he wins that, then he'd just be in the final.
Yeah.
So the Garcia one, I think is his toughest challenge, and unfortunately is at the start. I don't feel too comfortable with Adolis right there. I don't know how about you.
Ulises participated in it last year, right? Or
I don't
previously? I
remember.
could be wrong.
I
Okay.
don't remember.
Yeah, I think we're all on the same page of we're rooting for Randy. We want him to win. We want him to get money. At the very least, it does, as if people didn't already know about Randy, it continues to put the spotlight on him in the Rays, which is only a good thing. Same thing with the All-Star game where the fans that aren't in tune to what the Rays are doing can see what type of player that Yandy is, that Randy is, that Wander is. It would have been nice if Shane McClanahan was healthy and they could see him again in the All-Star game. Now, I will say, so last time we spoke about the home run derby, the field wasn't fully set. Now it is, of course. We've got Robert, Rutschman, Garcia, Arozarena, Alonso, Rodriguez, Betts, Guerrero Jr. And I got to say, I'm pretty pleased with the outcome and the participation in the names that are in this thing. I know not everybody wants to participate in the home run derby nowadays, especially when guys, the more all-stars you make and the more fat contracts you get, you kind of think of it, okay, it's a novelty. I don't really need to do it anymore. But I think they got a good crew and a good crowd for this. I will say, though, as much as I like Adley Rutschman and how great of a ball player he already is and will become in the future, they couldn't find anybody else who had a little bit more pop to their name. I mean, last time I checked, he was like tied for 64th in home runs with 12. So maybe this is just, hey, let's get a young gun, hot shot player to step into this thing, because I feel like there were more deserving folks out there for that number 8 seed.
I think it's a nod to, hey, the Orioles. Hey, here, here's your guy. And two, he will be he's in a trajectory of being a face of MLB, Adley Rutschman. Not only because of his talents behind the dish and his approach at the plate, but also the dude's good looking too. So that doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
Okay, when the camera loves you. So it's a good opportunity. It's a good platform for MLB to just put a spotlight on these guys that they want to showcase. And I do agree. Maybe Rutschman was not.
Give it to Tony Taters. Give it to Anthony Santander. He has 16 homers compared to Rutschman's 12. Give it to Gunnar Henderson. He has 13 compared to Rutschman's 12.
I'm not saying put Yandy Diaz up there. I'm just saying Yandy Diaz has more home runs than Andy Rutschman with a month and a half of not hitting home runs.
Isaac Paredes. Are you allowed to have two players from the same team in the home run derby? I don't know if there's any rule against that.
I
don't try to avoid that at all costs.
I don't know if there's any rule against it. I don't believe so, and I would bet that it has happened before, but maybe that's something that they're trying not to. Is every division represented here?
Oh, that is a good question.
AL West, AL East is all in there. NL West, NL East.
No, because
Central.
you have three players from the East, the AL East, and Guerrero Jr., Arozarena, and Rutschman.
Nothing from NL Central. Yeah, no NL Central love.
See, you theoretically could. Maybe that's the way or the move going forward is you have to have a representative from every division. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
it should be fun though. It should be a fun 2 hours. And hopefully Randy does surprise people, gets to do the pose. And this is the kind of platform that if you're a 30, 40, 50-year-old and you already have your team, that's not going to make you change your allegiance. But if you're a 5-year-old, if you're an 8-year-old, 10-year-old, and your parents are Yankee fans or Rays fans or whatever it is, but you watch the home run derby and you enjoy a certain player, you might change allegiance when you're a kid. Like that, that's very powerful for a kid. So
the home run derby is what got me really, really hooked on baseball when I was a youth and got me, oh my gosh, I got to watch more of King Griffey Jr. Oh my gosh, I've got to watch more of Sammy Sosa. I've got to watch more of Barry Bonds. I've got to watch more of Vladimir Guerrero Sr., not Jr. When you get older, it kind of, the shine wears off a little bit to some extent, but when you're in that prime age of development, 7 to 13, 14 years old, this matters more than you can think. And I think it's really smart that Randy lobbied for himself to participate in the thing and got chosen for it, because it can only help elevate his brand even further. So again, there's a lot at stake, not only making on the field dollars, but off the field dollars. And this is a good way and a good mechanism to do that in the future. So good luck to him. I'm sure we'll discuss it later on this week as well. In the meantime, hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and we will talk to you tomorrow.